Welcome everybody. This is where we're going to talk about the spiral staircase in our container house on a budget. As you know in the previous videos, you all know that I'm a welder fabricator and I have done all the welding and fabricating on this home. And as we go through the pictures, I will describe what I'm doing and how we're doing it. This is the house all lit up. Looks like some of the outside lights aren't on. This is the outside looking in to the spiral staircase. Here's the 8-inch pole that's going to be lifted up into place from inside the house. Okay, we got it stood up and now I'm trying to find center so we can put the pole in the center. Alright, we're getting it up into the center position. Looks like we just about got it there in the center. This was a big undertaking to build the spiral staircase inside this house. This is our exercise pole, our spiral staircase pole. Laugh out loud. Here I am just making sure I'm still in the center before I bolt it down. There it is, bolted down. And it is standing 20 feet tall from the bottom floor. It does not reach the top of the spiral staircase housing yet. Here is one of the steps that I will be starting with. There are the rest of the steps that will go down from the second floor. Here I am putting on the first step on the second floor. I am starting at the second floor and working my way down just to make sure it's going to line up right. And I did my stair treads every 7 5/8 of an inch height, so it was a comfortable step. Now most spiral staircases call for a 9.5-inch high step, and we did not want that big of a step when we were going to use this on a regular basis. Here I am welding on the smaller steps and working my way down to the first floor, one step at a time. I had to build a bracket to clamp to the 8-inch pipe and hold the step and square the step and level the step and then tack the step and double check everything before I would continue to weld it to make sure that everything was the way it was supposed to be. As you can see, I'm getting down to the last few steps. And we were very excited at this point, and I think I worked into the night to get this done. Now the stairs are just welded to the pole. There's no outside bracing or anything to them yet, so it's not like we could immediately start walking up them steps. Now here's a different view of me doing the same thing, starting with the first step on the second floor and then working my way down. And you can kind of see up there on the second floor that we don't have all the sheeting done. So some of these pictures are not in order as we were building the house because sometimes we didn't have enough material to finish part of the house. We moved on to another section of the house or vice versa. But we definitely stayed busy trying to get this house done. That square at the edge of that step is just to make sure that it lines up with the next step. You can see lots of lighting going on there because it's dark outside and I'm working through the night. Getting a little bit tight now that we're getting closer to the first floor. Now we're getting the handrail all fitted. And what I did there is I used 1x2 rectangle tubing and lined them up on the steps like it is right now, tacked it all together, and then I lifted it up on to the top of the uprights right there. And this was the look that I wanted to go for instead of just a round transition like you would normally see on a spiral staircase. Now the more bracing and handrail that I get on these steps, the more stable the steps will be. Now in my career of welding, I have built a few spiral staircases, a little bit different than this one. And I've kind of taken what I've liked out of these different spiral staircases that I built, and this is what I came up with for our house. Now these stair treads are 3 feet wide. We wanted it comfortable to walk up and down. If somebody was coming down and then another person going up, you could pass with no problems. There's my daughter Leandra testing out the staircase. There we are from the second floor looking down to the first floor. Now we are so excited at this point because we were using a ladder to get up to the kids' floor after we moved into the house. So this spiral staircase was built shortly after we moved in, probably within a couple weeks after we moved in. So the handrail's in and the uprights are in, and here we are starting to do the stair treads from the second floor up to the third floor now. And the only way I can get up there is to step on my stair treads that I welded. So I hope I was a good welder. I must have been because I never did fall down. But I had to stay to the inside next to the pole because if I was to stand 3 feet out, they would just bend because there's absolutely no support at this point. And the way I got my measurement is I would measure from the first floor to the second floor and divide it by, I think I did 12 steps. And that gives you a measurement of 7 5/8 of the total height I needed to go. And I had the same height between the second floor and the third floor. So all the stair treads were 7 5/8 tall. So it was a nice, comfortable step. Now here we are putting a square tube down in the center of this 8-inch pipe. Now this was kind of an afterthought. That 5-inch square tube is actually going to be the chimney for our fireplace. And the pipe is going to act as a big 27-foot heat exchanger. And we are going to collect all the heat around that 5-inch square tube with a fan. And then it will be ducted up into the floor of the second floor. That will warm the second floor, and the heat will come out in the 4 bedrooms that are on that second floor. So here we are dropping that 5-inch square tube down through that 8-inch pipe. So at this point, the spiral staircase pipe just isn't a spiral staircase pipe, it's also ductwork for the heat exchanger. And it turned out very awesome. We heat the first floor and the second floor with just this wood stove. Now we're getting ready to put the wood stove next to the spiral staircase there. And then we're going to start plumbing from the spiral staircase pipe over to that stove. And it was kind of crucial that we get this done pretty quick because winter was coming and we didn't want to be cold. And this was our only source of heat except electric heaters, which we did not want to use. All right, we got the stove in position. We got our first piece of exhaust pipe there going over to the wood stove. Making sure it's level and everything's square. I do have a clean out cut behind that 8-inch pipe there to clean out the stove pipe when it needs to be cleaned. Now some of you might think, wow, that gets really hot, but if you turn the fan on up above, which I will describe later in this video, it actually keeps that pipe just warm, not super hot, because it's taken the heat off of the chimney and we got it ducted into the second floor, and I will show you that ductwork here in a little bit. Now there have been times we forget to turn on the upper fan and that 8-inch pipe can get very hot. There's our first fire. And the kids are like, yay, we don't have to freeze this winter. Got Preston and Jacob and Electra and Leandra. Here we are from the second floor to the third floor, still doing the stair treads. The pictures might not be in perfect order, but hopefully you get the idea. Now we're doing the handrail for the second to the third floor. And as you can see, there's wood in place of where the windows are going to go because I didn't want all the sparks to burn my glass. Almost there. So right there where my head is, we added the rest of the 8-inch pipe after we put the 5-inch square tube in there. And I had to lift that up from the outside with my forklift with my jib crane on it. And I was barely able to reach the top of that spiral staircase. Because from the floor to the top of that spiral staircase housing is 27 feet. Right here is the white tank. It's going to be used so that I can plumb my squirrel cage fan into it that will direct the air down that 8-inch around the 5-inch square tube to collect the heat. There you can see the stovepipe going into the 8-inch spiral staircase pipe, but as soon as it touches that pipe, it goes into a 5-inch square tube. So here's the pickets that we assembled to put into the spiral staircase. Now these are what we call bird nests and knuckles, and you can buy these from King Architectural. So I did not build these. I assembled them on the 3/4 inch square pickets, but you can buy the fittings and the bird nest and add them onto these pickets. So we painted all the knuckles and the bird nest gold, and we were going to plan on painting the spiral staircase a different color. We just weren't sure what we wanted to paint it yet. But it was easier to paint them while they were off of the spiral staircase before I welded them on. And here I am welding them on now. As you can see, we got some Christmas lighting hanging down there, so it must be getting close to Christmas. Kids are all getting excited, hanging the Christmas lights, and getting ready for Christmas. We will also show more of the spiral staircase in later videos. Here's the second floor looking into the spiral staircase. This is from the third floor looking down into the second floor. And see all the knuckles and the bird nests. At this point, the steps are very stable. It took about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks to finish this spiral staircase from start to finish. There we are looking at the bottom on the first floor. Now at the very bottom of that spiral staircase, you see another 8-inch pipe coming out horizontal over into the corner. And the fan that's at the top is blowing air down that 8-inch pipe and into that 8-inch pipe that runs across by the floor. And here in a minute, you'll see where it's plumbed into the second floor. You lose a lot of heat out your chimney, and we were able to harness a lot of that heat and direct it back into the second floor. And there have been times the kids have complained that it's too hot on the second floor because it works so well. Here I am getting the ductwork plumbed into the second floor. And that's where the heat off of the chimney will go into the second floor. Now we're starting to take the wood out now that all the welding's done and starting to put the glass in. And please don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. There's the spiral staircase lit up, along with all the other rooms. Our electricity bill's going through the roof, I'm sure. But it was an exciting time for all of us to see that all lit up. In our next video, you'll be able to see my wife and I in a video, and we will discuss and talk about some of the questions that we have received on this house. And we'll take you on a little tour of the spiral staircase. And you can see there's more ribbon going on the spiral staircase because Christmas is coming. And we're going to be nice and warm. And we don't have to climb a ladder to get to the second floor. Hooray! So you can see there at the end of that step, I had to add a little bit just because I changed the transition a little bit. There's the kids warming up above the fire. Got some lights going on. This was such a big undertaking to do this spiral staircase, but we made it happen. And see all the Christmas lights. And my son Jacob looking up at me. Getting really close to Christmas time now. Well, that's it for this one. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.